go. So let's start practice tonight. I'm calling tonight's practice maintenance. So we go through all the things that would be useful for us to keep our bodies working in good working order. So let's come down to lying. Now we're going to keep the knees at 90 degrees. Not too far up, okay? You want your knees to be comfortable. Feet not too wide apart. You want your feet hip distance apart, which is narrower than you think. Okay, so don't have your feet wide. Have your feet about here, in line with the sit bones, the ischial tuberosity. Ischial tuberosity is the sit bones. And then we're just going to place a blanket, if you have one. If you don't have to, underneath your sacrum, not lower back, just sacrum, and rest. Constructive rest. Just going to let those long thigh bones just rest into the hips. Let the arms rest by the sides. Make sure that the surface of the feet, the whole surface of the sole of the foot is in contact. So you're not too much into the heels or too much into the toes. You've got equal toes and heels of your feet in contact with the floor. Basically, you want to feel at ease, comfortable. And we're going to start off just becoming present with the breath and present in the body. And that takes a little while at first, especially if you've just rushed in from work or busy day. It takes a while just to settle your mind and bring the attention down from the brain and down the neck so that you can associate with your body. Body rather than mind. So we're just resting. And the word for mindfulness in the body is body and breath is sati, S-A-T-I. And it's just really remembering and being present. Having a deepening appreciation for what arises and noticing whatever's happening in your body right now. But because we're so busy, we have to remind ourselves about that and the importance of that. So just bring your awareness to your breath. Notice how the inhale rises and there's a sense of a lightness with the inhale. And I want you to think of your exhale sinking down into your lower back, letting your lower back rest towards the floor. You're breathing from the belly. There's an expansion from the belly on the inhale and then a retraction on the exhale. And as you watch the next round, just watch that expansion on the inhale, a retraction on the exhale. And then there's a little rest, a little pause, a little space. And then we begin the cycle again. We inhale, we exhale. And notice that little rest, because that's when your body gets a chance to pause, a chance to just recover. And then we start the inhale and exhale all over again. And that pause is very important. It's a big part in your mindfulness process, just noticing the pause between the exhale and before you take your next inhale. So you pause and you notice. And try and rest the lower back towards the floor, just softening it. We're going to extend the feet. So legs are straight. And we're going to start by circling the ankles. Big, wide circles on the ankles. Just see what direction they go in on their own accord. Arms can be to the sides, hands may be on the belly. Whatever feels comfortable for you, keep rotating those ankles. Big circles, not too quick, not too slow, just working the ankles. And also, we go back to our being really aware of the body. Notice how you feel that in the calves, in the shins. Notice you'll probably feel that in the knees and all the way up to the hips. We're going to change the direction on those ankle circles. We've done this for a couple of weeks now, I think. And really important to free up from the feet upwards, from the hands upwards. You know, very often if you've got something going on with the knees or the hips, you have to address the feet first. So we're just circling opposite direction. I want you to circle so wide that you can really feel that work going on in the ankles. They almost feel like, wow, they're quite tired when they have to draw those big circles continuously. So you're really having to work those muscles and the rest of the legs as well. And then rest. So we then bring the knees just in line with the pelvis. The hands rest on the kneecaps. Take the feet to 12 o'clock. We take the feet to 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and then we continue to 9 o'clock. So the knees stay center. It's the feet that move out to the sides, and you continue that circle. Now, when the feet are at 3 and 9 o'clock, you're going to feel that pulling on your abdominals a little, because you're stabilizing yourself. And your obliques are going to have to work to rotate the feet. Now, this is also really nice for the knees, because the knees are going through a very limited range of movement. The knees have, really, they just flex and extend, and that's it. But there's a little bit of lateral movement side to side, very small. And you, like I say, you're having to stabilize yourself. Come back to 12 o'clock, and then you're going to go in the opposite direction. Try not to get stuck at 3 or 9 o'clock, and keep the circling continuous. Keep the knees together, keep the ankles together, and keep noticing. Again, stay in the body. Maybe the obliques. That's the sides of your abdominal region are having to work. Good. And bring them back to center. Next one, we open the knees, keep the hands on the knees, and then we're going to circle the knees back into the chest, out and away from you, into the chest as we inhale, exhale as we take that circle away and back. So one circle is a full inhale and exhale. So don't do it too quick. Make sure that you can time your inhale and exhale to one full circle of the knees. Now you're going to find again, the further you let the legs come away from the body, the more you're having to use your stabilizers, your abdominals, your thighs. There's a little bit of like, whoa, that's quite hard. One more in that direction. Bring the knees back into chest and then send the knees away together, open, back into chest together, away together, open, and back in. Find your breath. You normally inhale back to the chest, exhale away. And just noticing the breath. Take them as slow as you're able to. And this is really sending the fluid into the joints, the synovial fluid, our natural WD-40 of the body. And come back to center. Okay, remember these ones from last week. Now I'm going to put my little bit of blanket, the back of my head, not the shoulders, just the back of the head. I'm going to drop the knees towards the camera is best, I think, towards your screen. Stack the hands one on top of the other. The top hand touches. This is really nice sensation, touching across the chest, reaching out to the opposite side, and then semicircling the hand back in contact with the floor until you reach back onto your lower hand. Now, as we inhale, that's opening the top hand, so the palm is up, and then you exhale, tracing the arm in a semicircle back to the top of the bottom hand. Really use a deep opening breath and a long exhale, tracing back and a pause. Inhale, opening across the chest. This is very relaxing and very, very good for the shoulders. You know, our shoulders should be able to move 360 degrees, but we use such a limited range of movement in our shoulders during the day that they get a little bit stuck. Exhale. We're going to take one more. Don't rush. Open across the chest and then exhale, semicircle. All the way back. And then from here, roll onto your back, extend the feet wide into an X, take the arms back wide into an X, so you're in the position of a starfish. And just breathe up into the chest, exhale, release. Again, breathe up into the chest. And exhale, release. Remember that little pause after your exhale, just so your body gets a chance to recover. One more, inhale. Breath moves upwards. Exhale. Breath moves downwards. And pause. And then you're going to roll over to the other side. So the knees at 90, Other hand on top, head still on the blanket if you have it there underneath the head, and not the shoulders, just the head. And then you open the top hand on the inhale. And you exhale, tracing the hand back in contact with the floor. Take your time. Do not rush the breath, because this is a big part of the practice. Just bringing your awareness to breath, slowing down the breath, finding that pause after the exhale. And just giving yourself a chance to be really present in the body. Whatever you feel, might feel tighter, might feel less tight. Long inhale, opening and enjoying that open feeling across the chest. Exhale, that sweeping semicircle till your hands back on top. Take one more. Inhale, open wide. Exhale, keep the hand in contact with the floor, semicircle, palm on top of palm. And when you're ready, roll back into your X shape or starfish shape. And just see how the breath feels. Up into the chest. Exhale, release. Okay, let's bring the knees into the chest. We're going to prepare ourselves for a little bit of shoulder stand. And the reason I'm putting shoulder stand at the beginning is because I want to emphasize in my review of things today, our Ujjayi breath and some other breaths, but best position for Ujjayi breath practice is shoulder stand or plow. So I'm going to have that just on the head, not on the shoulders, just the back of my neck and head on the little bit of support, which is just a blanket. And then you can have various options. If you're a little bit nervous, some people are, they don't want to lift up the pelvis. So you can always put your brick landscape just underneath the sacrum. Make sure it's not sticking into your lower back. That gives you a little bit of lift. So there's option one. Option two. Or you may feel more comfortable in a plow position. Option three. So just coming into that position, your choice of position. Doesn't matter what your pose looks like at all. What I want you to concentrate on is your breath. So with shoulder stand or plow position, your chin is tucked against the top of your chest, which closes the glottis, closes the back of the throat a little bit. So as we inhale and exhale, there's less breath coming through. It's more stretched out, it's lengthened. So the breath becomes longer. And you get to hear a sighing sound in the back of the throat. The tongue rests the roof of the mouth, which is a good practice. When we have the tongue resting on the roof of the mouth, the attention is focused between the eyebrows. And the benefits of your shoulder stand or plough or supported shoulder stand are really beneficial for your practice, because it switches us more than any other pose into parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest, and ujjayi breath too is really mindful breath. We use it a lot in yoga when we want to really concentrate or calm down or slow down or still the mind, all those things together. So you become less in your mind, more in your body by adopting this ujjayi breath technique. Just notice the length of the inhale, the length of the exhale. And if you're finding it difficult to stay up there, then lower yourself down slowly. Try and roll your back vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae down to floor. Okay. So we're going to go for the back MOT now. Position 1, knees at 90 degrees, arms to the sides, palms face down. You can still have the blanket if you want the blanket behind the head. It's up to you, whatever feels comfortable. Okay, using the breath, exhale both knees to the right side. Inhale to center. So there's no finished position. You exhale to the left. You inhale back to center. And you keep going. If that's not very comfortable on your sacrum, pop the blanket underneath the sacrum instead, depending on how much support you've got. If you've got a nice, comfortable mat underneath your carpet, underneath your mat, then it won't be so rough as a hard floor. So that's for L4, L5. Those are the ones that normally people complain about. So we're starting off lumbar spine. Just inhale and exhale without them dropping kerplunk. They're controlled inhale and controlled exhale, and that's also using your abdominals. So that's MOT exercise number 1. We'll finish on the left side. Back to center. MOT exercise number 2. Straighten out the left leg, draw the right knee into chest. And then with the left hand, draw that right knee over towards the floor. See if you can get your knee to touch to the floor, but you're looking over your right hand. So right knee crosses to the left side. And we get a nice twist here, lumbar spine. So we're going through the various sections of the back. And all twisting is necessary to keep your spine supple. So it's quite nice, you know, maintenance. That's why I've called tonight's class maintenance, to just pop these practices in. Swap the knee to the left knee into chest. The right hand's going to draw that left knee across. Maybe it touches, maybe it doesn't. Look over the left hand and breathe. And notice, this is also nice to open the armpit area. Got our lymph nodes in that section. So again, we're opening, releasing, letting the fluids flow freely. Deep breath in and deep breath out. So it's nice to have the Ujjayi breath from the start because it helps us just get into that longer exhale, more time for the body to rest. Okay. Come back to center. Just checking MOT number 3. Oh yes. Bring the knees back to 90 degrees, so it's similar to the first one. The only difference is I want your feet to be flexed this time. So you're bringing the toes back towards your shins. We'll inhale. Exhale the knees to the right side. Inhale, lift. With the toes flexed. Exhale the knees to the left side. Keep them at 90. In your own time, inhale, lift. Exhale to right. Knees together, ankles together. Inhale. Exhale, try and look the opposite direction to the side that your legs are going. Try not to let the knees collapse down. Keep in sync with your breath, which is also mindful. So we keep attentive to the body, attentive to the breath. We'll finish on the left side. And come back to center. I think we're on number 5. So eagle legs, that's the right leg crosses over the left, above the knee. If you can hook that right foot behind the left calf, that's great. If you can't, don't worry. So you can see that's what my legs look like. So this is my right knee is going to draw across to the left. Open out the right arm. And there's a tighter twist. It's more into the thoracic spine now, as well as lumbar. So into ribs. And this time we leave the knee across. Full inhale, full exhale. At least 5 breaths. The more breath you can take in and the more breath you can release, the better for your body. More oxygen to the cells. Okay, bring the legs back up. Swap the left over the right. Hook behind if you can, and then with the right hand draw that left knee across to the right side, left arm opens out. This is tight, it's a tight twist, may feel a little uncomfortable, so try and find your breath. First breath might be difficult. Find that deep inhale and that long exhale. And that long exhale. Five breaths. And then releasing the legs. The next one is butterfly legs. So the soles of the feet are together. The arms raise above the head, palms face up. So you get a good connection of the soles of the feet together. And then you're going to lift the pelvis up, reaching the arms back behind you. Got a great stretch on the inner thighs, great stretch, tightener, sorry, for the buttocks. And it gives a little bit of release for that lower back. So 5 breaths here. An active stretch on the adductors, on the inner thighs. Active stretch on the glutes. Keep the pelvis lifted, nice for the lower back. And then release slowly, slowly, slowly. Let the legs drop open and you'll feel that they're much wider because you've worked like a P&F stretch. Okay, we've got one more to do. So this one's a little bit more extreme, I suppose. Bring the knees into the chest. When you drop the knees to the right side, I want the knees as high up as your elbow. And then I want to see if you can stretch those feet out straight. So literally, your feet stretch into your right hand, the legs are straight. Quite a deep stretch for the back. So if it's pulling in your lower back and you don't like it, don't do it. Bend the knees again, or be not so extreme. Bring them a little bit further down if it's too much for your lower back. Inhale up. Exhale the knees over to the left elbow. Stretch out the legs so the feet are into the left hand. Again, it's a little bit of stretch I can feel into the lumbar spine. So if that's too much for you, bring the legs lower, just do a normal 90-degree stretch. Inhale back up. We'll do it one more time. Knees in line with the elbows. Straighten legs if you want to. Full breath into the ribs. Exhale, release. Full breath into ribs. And exhale and release. Bring the knees back to bent. Inhale, lift. And exhale, knees to the elbow on the left. Straighten out the legs. Send that breath into lumbar. Into belly. Bend the knees. Come back up. Okay, we're going to cross over the ankles. Roll our way up. And come to seated position. I think it's time for a breathing exercise actually. So let's come up to the brick. So I thought I'd pop in a few breathing exercises for revision or maintenance. We know this one, Kapalabhati, 40, 60, 80. See if we can maintain our 40, 60, 80 practice. It's hard to get 80 pumps, but we'll try and maintain that. Okay. So, hands in chin mudra, thumb connects to the index fingernail. Take a full inhale. And a long, steady exhalation. Belly draws to spine. Once again, a full inhale. And a long, steady exhalation. Belly draws to spine. So round one, inhale, prepare. 40 exhalations when you're ready. And exhale, 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 exhale. Squeeze the belly to the spine. Fully exhaled. Take a full inhalation. So the chest expands, breath comes right the way up, collarbones, and a long steady exhalation. Gently drawing the belly button back towards the spine. We inhale a full breath and hold. So when you hold, you bring the tongue to rest, roof of mouth, which gives us that connection and focusing in the space between the eyebrows. Eyes are closed softly, the shoulders are relaxed. Just drawing into that stillness, that still point. Not straining, not forcing. And then slowly exhale. Belly button draws to spine. We inhale a full breath. And we exhale. Belly draws to the spine. We inhale, prepare. 60 exhalations when you're ready. And exhale, 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 exhale. Take a full inhalation, right the way up to the collarbones, and a long steady exhalation. Belly button draws back to spine. So we're going to inhale a full breath and hold. Crown lifts. Sit bones grounded. Spine feels long, open. Joints feel spacious. And the mind feels calm, steady. When thoughts go, the energy follows. So just keeping that focus in the eyebrow center. And slowly exhale. Belly button draws towards the spine. Take a full inhalation. And a long, steady exhalation. Once again, a full inhalation. And a long, steady exhalation. Belly button draws to the spine. So final round, we inhale, prepare. 80 exhalations when you're ready. And exhale, 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 exhale. Belly draws to spine. Take a full inhalation, right the way up to collarbones, and a long steady exhalation. The belly draws towards the spine. So we're going to inhale a full breath and hold. Let the shoulders rest away from the ears. Let the joints feel spacious. And invite that spaciousness into your mind, where the mind is still empty, spacious, quiet. Just focusing on the space between eyebrows, center. And slowly exhale. That was 1 minute. Take a full inhale. And slowly exhale. So that's our cleansing breath, and we could call it our cleaning breath. I'm going to continue to sit on my blanket for a little bit. Not the brick, just the blanket. So yeah, it cleans out the gunk from the lungs. Taking in more oxygen to transport around the body. Stops us getting colds because we're cleaning our lungs. And it energizes us. Shining skull means we're sending more oxygen up to the brain, so we're being energized. Okay, I'm going to ask you to put the left hand out here and take the right hand behind the head. Just get the hand to support behind your head on the left, on the right side. And then we're going to inhale, lift to the top right corner, so you've got a spiral going on. Exhale, elbow towards the left knee. Inhale. And exhale. So left hand supporting you. Inhale, we take a spiral which opens into the ribs. Exhale, elbow to knee. Can you feel that squeeze in the belly? Inhale, lift to the top corner of the room. On the diagonal, exhale, elbow towards knee. Doesn't have to touch the knee. We've got one more. Inhale, a spiral, rotation. Exhale, elbow towards the knee. Inhale, lift, and then interlace your hands. So you've got both hands now behind the head. Elbows up and out. You're going to inhale, look up towards sky as best as your shoulders can go. Exhale, round, squeezing the belly button back towards the spine, chin to chest. So it's a little bit cat-cow. If that's too much for your shoulders, Lena, just don't do it. Just take the arms down, keep the hands on the knees. If it's too much for the shoulders, if it's not too much for the shoulders, that's a good stretch into the upper back. Exhale. Inhale, lift. And squeeze it in. One more. Also a great stretch to stop us rounding into the upper back. So we're going to take the right hand to the floor, keeping the left hand behind. Inhale to the diagonal, look into the top corner of the room. Exhale, elbow towards the opposite knee. Inhale, look back. Exhale, we rotate and spiral. Inhale, look back. Exhale, spiral. 2 more. Take your time, so you've got a full breath in, full breath out. Full breath in. And remember, after your full breath out, that little pause. Inhale, lift. Interlace again. We're going back to lifting up and rounding down. Chin to chest, belly to spine. And maybe it gets a little bit easier. Exhale. This will be the last one. Exhale. And then release. So comfortable seat. Hands can be on the knees. We're going to drop the chin to the chest. Now remember to keep the teeth closed but not clenched. Roll the head to your right side or left side, whichever side feels right. When you drop the head back, particularly keep the teeth closed but not clenched. And we continue. Circle. When you get back to chin to chest, you're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Teeth are closed but not clenched, especially when you drop the head back. Take it slow enough so that you can notice whatever is tight or whatever sensations you like or you don't like. Okay, come back up to sitting. So that's another part of our mindfulness that I would like to just mention. We've got mindfulness of body, mindfulness of breath, and we've been doing that for the past few weeks, so that makes sense. But we've also got mindfulness of feeling, and some things tend to be pleasurable, some things tend to be unpleasurable, and some things tend to be pretty neutral. No real pleasure or unpleasure. And we can find that we can adopt this in the yoga, because some poses are pleasurable and some poses, we just don't like quite as much. So I want you to focus on that and do just that simple rotation again. And notice if there's any part of that rotation which is a little bit unpleasurable. Notice, or is it just neutral, you're not really bothered, or is it can it be quite pleasurable, or is certain parts of the rotation more pleasurable than others? That's a lot of information, so we're going to have a little go. We're going to be mindful of our feeling. Drop the chin to the chest. I want you to go super slow, because if you're going to notice all of those things, and having to decipher, is that I like it personally, I'm enjoying all of this, for me it's pleasurable, even though it might be a little bit grisly at some places where I know my neck and shoulders are tight. So I want you to explore one circle in the first direction, taking your time, and then one circle in the opposite direction. Is it pleasurable? Is it non-pleasurable? Or are you just pretty not really, don't feel anything at all? Neutral to the whole experience. For me, that is extremely pleasurable. And the point is, if it's not pleasurable or something is a little bit painful, you know, sit with it and let's ask ourselves why. What makes it that way? Sometimes we find it isn't that at all. It's our head telling us stories. So we're going to have the hands around the outside of the feet. We're going to walk the feet forwards. As we walk the feet forwards, I walk the butt back and just come forwards into a forward fold of some description. Doesn't have to be hands still on the feet, can be hands on the ankles. We're just going to take that forward fold before we do our second breathing exercise. The third breathing exercise, because we've done Ujjayi, we've done Kapalabhati. Just having a few breaths in this forward fold position. Gives the back of the hamstrings a bit of a stretch, the calves a bit of a stretch, the back of the body a bit of a stretch. And our breathing apparatus, our belly expands and contracts. Belly expands and contracts. And back up to seat. Interlace hands, take the wrists through the figure of 8. We haven't started on the wrists yet. And I want to do everything for maintenance today. Maintenance. So there's no reason why we should get problems with our joints, at least. Or our back, or our shoulders, or our neck. If we move regularly, we keep everything oiled, well oiled. So that's one for the wrists. Could be done at the desk. Then we have tabletop for the wrists. And we just do the yin and yang, place and place. It's just a good reminder, you know, we know we should do these, but once a week in class, we have to do them. Place, make sure the weight goes in, place back, place back, place back. And that's a good test for you. So that's a really good maintenance exercise where we just know we should be able to take the hands back and front, back and front. And then if you really want to extend a little bit more into those arms and wrists, we take the cat-cow from this position, where we inhale, look up, dipping the spine, and we exhale and round. Now that's not particularly pleasurable. I find that a little bit unpleasurable, but you know, I know it's good for my wrists. Inhale, so I'm willing to do it. Little bit, exhale and round. Inhale. Exhale. And then, of course, we want to release the wrists, have a little shake out, a little stretch that way. That's quite nice. Well, that's quite nice, I find, just to get the wrists back to some sense of normality. Magic fingers. Okay, so we're going to do some side stretching. And to start off with, I want to just have a little test. So we're going to test before and after. So the testing is kneeling position, forehead to floor, hands back by the heels in child's pose. And I want you to just breathe. See how that feels in the back of the body. Just an inhale and exhale. Again, an inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Okay, so you've taken sort of account of that breath, what it feels like. Now, I'm going to use my brick here, because even my arms aren't that long. We'll start by opening the right side. So I'm going to place left hand, oh, might need it that high even, but I'm going to go to half. So you've got your brick. We're kneeling and stretching into the right side of the body, supporting the hand on your brick. But I want to open between the ribs, the spaces between the ribs. So my right palm is down towards the floor. I wouldn't say this is pleasant. It's not unpleasant, so I'm a little bit neutral about this one. I don't really have any particular feeling about it. I'm dropping my ear towards my shoulder. I'm making it as comfortable as I can. I know I've got to breathe into the right side of the ribs to open them. Once again. So I'm really going to open one side, okay? We're going to really open this right side. And then what I'm going to try and do is take that leg out. My toes are pointing forwards, so I can take a gate stretch. Still on the knee on the left, gate stretching through the right side. Maybe putting that hand down to floor. Ooh, on my finger stance. But can't have any tightness between the ribs now. Palm facing towards the floor. So we're going to go for the test now and see if there's any difference on that right side. So slowly bring yourself back up. Oh my goodness. You're going to come down into child's pose, forehead to the floor. Rest the shoulders. Inhale into the back of the body. See if there's any more spaciousness on the right side. Maybe you don't notice any difference. Maybe it just feels there's more space anyway. Or maybe you can feel there's more space on the right side. I don't know. But we're going to do the same on the left side now. So the first one is kneeling, supporting on your brick, whichever side level you want, and reaching that. Now you see, for me, this is my right side. This feels so much tighter than the left side I've already done. So you might feel the opposite. You might feel this side is easier if you're right-handed. Let the ear drop towards the shoulder. Definitely much tighter on this side. Inhale into ribs. Exhale, release. Inhale into ribs. Exhale, release. Just watch the breath in and watch the breath out. Is it pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Or are you neutral? Take that left leg out. Toes point forwards. Maybe you can reach to the floor for gate post, or gate pose, not gate post, gate pose. Opening into that left side of the body. Arm faces down towards the floor. Neck is relaxed. Take as much breath in as you can, as much breath out. We'll see if we've got more spaciousness in the back of the body in a minute. By test number 2. So slowly inhale, lift yourself up. Come back to child's. Forehead to floor, hands back by the heels. Take a full breath in, see how much more space you've got in the back of the ribs, in the sides of the ribs. Inhale for as long as you can to fill the back of the ribs. Exhale, release. Our lungs, if we took them out of our body and spaced them out to the size of a tennis court, and we use, well, we don't, but your average person uses 1/9 of that spaciousness of the lungs. When we open the ribs like this, we can use more of our lungs. So therefore we can get more oxygen into the body. So much better for us. Okay. Time to move on. We're going to take a lunge position to stretch the psoas muscle. So from tabletop, I'd like you to take the right foot forwards, hands either side of that foot. Just going to show you here. And with a lunge, because we're stretching into the groins, into the front of your sacrum. If you can take the knee further forwards than the ankle, that's okay. But if that's too much for your lower back, then you can always take that foot forwards. But a lunge is generally the knee beyond the ankle, and that's the only time we do the knee beyond the ankle. If your knee is painful, you put your cushion, your blanket or towel underneath there. Okay, so let's go again. Let's just check in. Is this pleasurable? Is it non-pleasurable? Because often we go into a pose and think, oh no, don't like it, don't like it, don't like that. Find the breath. Be a little bit more conscious of the breath. Use the exhale breath to release. And then find that pause at the end of the exhale. And try and let go of a little bit more tightness. Where we're stretching, so if the right leg is forwards, stretching right here on the left, stretching the psoas muscle, which runs up from inside of the pelvis, up into the diaphragm. Very difficult muscle to stretch. I'm going to take a few more. Again, this is maintenance. Maintenance for sitting in a chair at a desk. It's not our fault, we just have to do it, eh? And release. Step back with the right. Step forwards with the left. And lunge. So at least we're stretching both sides, so we're going to be balanced. Again, you're now stretching the right side of your psoas muscle running up here. If you're feeling, well, it's a non-pleasant feeling for me at the moment, close your eyes. Sync yourself to your breath, your inhale, your exhale, your space after the exhale. And it might be a little bit less non-pleasurable if you can focus on the breath and just let it happen. Remember, we're doing our body a service by stretching it. We're taking care of our body and it will thank us for it. It's just got to get through that little bit of resistance that the mind will often pop in there for us. Okay. And release. Ooh. So, I'm coming back to the breathing exercise shortly. Let's come to a seated position with the legs nice and wide. Wide legs seated. I'm going to have to let the cat in a minute because He's staring at me. So just get yourselves like that. Come on then. Come on. Yes, come on. You coming or not? Lena wants to see you. Right. Sorry about that. That was a short break, cat break. You may look at that and think, well, I can't get my legs that wide. So just bring them to where they can still stay straight. And then try and pull the buttocks out from behind. This is just a nice release after what we've done. It's a little bit more pleasurable to do certain poses after certain poses. However, we're still going to open the ribs. So what I'd like is just to stretch over with the right arm. So we're continuing that principle of opening into ribs. Opening any tightness, you can drop the ear to the shoulder. Maybe you can drop a bit further. Take 5 breaths on that side. And then we'll swap it to the left. So we were that way. Done 5 breaths. And then slowly come back up. We're going to take the other side. Again, just being respectful for our bodies. You know, we want to have spaciousness in the joints. We want to breathe better. We want to feel better. Ear drop to the shoulder. We want to be able to fix things for ourselves. So noticing, feeling, being mindful is a really important practice. Inhale and back up. Okay, hands underneath the knees, bring the feet together, soles of the feet, and have a little butterfly bounce. So much maintenance I was going to do. Better put in a little bit of abdominals, I think. So balance on your sit bones. Maybe you bring the legs there. Sorry, maybe you bring the legs there. Maybe you bring the legs there. That's a start. But don't let them go too far out. I want the tight V because that's working your core. But don't let it kind of come back down here. Keep the tight V if you can. And then take it out, touch down, bring it back up. If you can, or you can go a little way, maybe put the back down, bring it back up. We'll just try 5 of those. Or working towards it, you have to concentrate so much, you can't even have time to think if that's pleasurable or non-pleasurable or neutral, because you're concentrating on your pose. That will do. That was a little quick insertion of some abdominals. We're going to go into our second breathing exercise because this is our calming down breath, Anuloma Viloma. So we have done 3 today: Ujjayi, Kapalabhati, Anuloma Viloma. Left hand in the Chin Mudra, right hand in the Vishnu Mudra. That's the 2 root fingers into the palm of the hand. Thumb closes the right side. Ring finger closes the left side. So when you're ready, inhaling left nostril, and hold. Tongue again rests at the roof of the mouth, the crown of the head lifts, and the focus is in the center of the eyebrows. Exhale, right nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Inhaling right side. And hold. Exhaling left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Inhaling left side. Got 4 counts and hold. Exhaling right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Inhaling right side. And hold. Exhaling left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Inhaling left side. And hold. Exhaling right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Inhaling right side. And hold. And exhaling left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, belly to spine, 8. Just bringing the right hand down onto the knee. And just observing your breath. Eyes still closed. Maybe noticing a little calmer, a little bit more balanced, maybe even a little bit more pleasurable. Not so many thoughts is always pleasurable. Good. So bringing yourself off of the brick. We haven't done this one. I haven't done much for the hips yet. So hip mobility exercise. Love that one. With our hands. Excellent for keeping the hips mobile. If you're doing a lot of sports, your hips are likely to get tight. If you're doing a lot of sitting, hips are likely to get tight. And then back to table. I think we will just get into one downward facing dog. I've resisted it all practice today. Just tuck the toes, lift the pelvis, walk the heels. Heel touch, let the head hang, chin tucks into chest. See how the back of the calves feel as the heel touches down, heel touches down, heel touches down. Fingers are spread wide. Both heels touch down. Head drops towards the floor. And then let's bring the right knee into the chest. Forwards, so the shoulders are over the wrists. Place the right knee behind the right wrist. We're going to go pigeon right side. You really should have a pigeon in there because I know a lot of people's hips are very tight these days. And also it's a good maintenance measure for yourselves. Now what you don't want So when you said your knee hurt, Anne, if your knee hurts in that position, which if I'm forward, so if I'm facing you, kind of got the knee out to the side, which if that puts any pressure on the knee, you must not do it. So you would go there like that, but you're not going to get the same stretch into your buttock, into your hip joint. So if this puts pressure on the knee, just don't do it. Just, if anything puts pressure on the knee, don't do it. You need your knees to be healthy, I'm afraid. And they don't give a lot of warning. So, forehead can be down. Chest can be lifted. Decide which is giving you the best stretch in your pigeon. I like to lift up onto my fingers. I like to bow the head and lift up. Just makes it a little bit deeper, I find. Sometimes I wiggle a little bit side to side just to get a little bit more action into that hip. And then we're going to rest the weight onto the right hip, bring the left leg around, sit in cow face. Now, your cow face may be here, still stay with it. If you really can't get the foot there at all, then instead of cow face, you do call it thread the needle. When we roll back here, we thread the needle, but that's a seated version with the foot flexed. But if possible, this is another sort of maintenance check for your hips. You probably find, people who are running a lot, cycling a lot, they will find this very difficult because the hips are so tight because they're moving in just that one dimension. So if you want to keep your hips healthy and mobile, then pigeon followed by cow face. So those of you who find this easy, give yourself a little forward fold. If you find it easy, then it's okay. You don't need to go any harder. You just don't have tight hips, and that's you're very lucky not to have tight hips. But I know some people find this so easy, and think, well, I don't feel anything, so it's not doing me any good. You're obviously flexible enough, so just be grateful and thankful you haven't got tight hips. Okay, we're going to swap that over to the other side. So you've now got your right leg over the left leg, or you're doing the other version of that. But we've literally just swapped it over because we're going to do the cow face first, followed by the pigeon on the left. And then we're nearly done. And to get the knees lined up, took me a good while, a good few years to get the knees lined up. So most people's cow face will start something like that. And you might think, well, how am I going to get there? You just have to wriggle, literally wriggle the butt, get the feet to the outside, keep both of your sit bones or your base of your spine. We call it the sit bones, but it's actually correct name is the ischial tuberosity. Is the sit bones at the base of the pelvis. So we've had a little lean forwards. We're nearly there for the exciting bit that's going to come with the strap in a moment. Leave the left knee forwards. Take the right leg back into pigeon. So again, check the knee is safe. I like to tuck the toes under at the back, walk the foot a little bit further back, and then walk the hands over to the right. So really in the pose, I'm looking for a little bit of, stretch, or one could interpret that as non-pleasurable. If you want to do the melting on the finger stance, see how that feels in the left hip. It's quite nice. Good. And then you're going to slide the back leg forwards, bring the legs together. Roll yourself down. Take your loop of your strap as we set up at the beginning of the class. First bit, I'm just going to show you this around the back of the neck, on top of the ears, so my ears are stuck out, look. And it just supports, it gives you a little stretch in the back of the neck. Oh, I think mine is just about the right size. So, got it on like right at where the back of my head meets my neck, but the ears aren't squashed inside, the ears are on the outside, and my foot rests in there. And this leg just hangs over. So my hamstrings are quite loose because I've stretched them for many, many years. They weren't always like that. Yours may be here, that's all right, but you just need a longer loop on your strap. So you want the leg to be straight and the head is lifted, but you're in a little bit of a swing, and it feels so comfy. Just feels like I can just chill out here. I only do one leg at a time. I've seen people put 2 feet in, but that's not correct. It's just a way of stretching the hamstring, which we always stretch the hamstring after the hips. So you do your hips first, you do your pigeon, your cow face, and then you're ready to stretch the hamstring. You get a better stretch in the hamstring if you do the hips first. So I'm loving that. This for me is definitely pleasurable because I'm not having to do anything. It's doing the work for me, stretching the hamstring, and the neck's getting a nice stretch too. So make sure you've got enough give in your strap, and it's not too easy either. If you haven't got the right torque on your strap, it's difficult. So in case you weren't here at the beginning and you're wondering how we got that into the strap, I'm going to do a demonstration. So on any strap, you'll have 2 little clip hooks. Put your strap through both, and then you hook it back through one. I think it's a Girl Guide technique. And then you've got a taut strap. So let's swap that over to the second leg. Even though you're loving it so much, you don't want to come out. Make sure it's in situ at the back of the neck, and your head isn't straining, to lifting the head up too much. Your head should be pulling the leg back, so you can just passively, without having to do anything, you just get that hamstring stretch, back of the knee stretch, calf stretch, and you can just imagine you're on the veranda in the sun. Definitely no work, just on holiday. Lovely fresh fragrance of flowers, butterflies. We're in an idyllic location, just nature. No interruptions, no noisy motorbikes, no noisy neighbours. Just the right amount of sunshine. Just resting. So that should feel a little pleasant. You can keep the leg there if you really want to, or if you've had enough, just let the leg float on down. Maybe bring the blanket for the back of the head and rest yourself in Shavasana. Come back to your mindful breath. Come back to being mindful of your body. And come back to being mindful of what you're feeling, the different feeling tones, pleasant experiences. This is what the Buddha explained. There were pleasant experiences or feelings. There were unpleasant experiences or feelings, and then there were neutral experiences or feelings. We're drawn towards pleasant and we're drawn away from unpleasant. And then we feel pretty spaced out around neutral. We tend to cling to what is pleasant. Sometimes we cling too much and we get caught up in the loop of addiction. Or we get bored and then we go looking for some stimulation or something that's going to give us a pleasant experience. But when we can become mindful of what we're feeling, the act of mindfulness can change the neuroplasticity of the brain, and it can change those behavior patterns that we're always being drawn to pleasant experiences and moving away from unpleasant experiences. Watch the breath. Watch the space after the breath out. Really important. So, hopefully your Shavasana is a pleasant experience. Maybe a neutral experience where we're just a little bit zoned out. We're not really thinking whether we like it or whether we don't like it, but we're just in that spaciousness. Just experiencing it. So we're going to take a little wriggle to the fingers and wriggle to the toes. Just moving those extremities slowly, softly. And then bringing the knees into the chest. Having a little hug. A little massage into the lower back, side to side. We've done our back MOT. We've done our joints. Maintenance work on the joints. We've opened the lungs, so we breathe better. We've done 3 breath practices. And we've added a few postures to open into the hips. and the hamstrings. So just coming up to sit in your own time. Done plenty today. Bring the hands together at the heart. And when we bow, we honor the place in each other in which the entire universe dwells. So I honor the place in you, which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. And when you're in that place and I'm in that place, we are one. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your support and your hard work. And we'll see what happens, whether people want to go back to Zoom, and please drop me a line if you particularly would like to continue. I was just having a little break as I'm off to Champneys soon.
Oh, nice.
Woo.
It's like an end of an era, Caroline. A massive thank you. It's like the end of COVID. It's just been